Go get somebody else. Because otherwise you're asking me to be a punching bag. You're asking me to stand up for 5 months and let them just take right cross after left cross and bludgeon me to death and not be able to at least say they're lying about me. That's what you're asking me to do. And I'm talking to Democratic donors in this state who give maximum contributions but refuse to do it in this race or any race for the United States Senate. They'll go give it out of the state, and you're asking me to defend Democratic principles, but you will not write a check, and you're wrong about that. Let me tell you how we win in this state. A Democrat wins.
I haven't seen us win in this state.
Let me tell you how we did. Let me tell you how we did. 1994 was the last time we did in a statewide race. But Texas was Democratic for 170 years. The Democratic Party won for 170 years in this state because you had East Texas that voted Democrat and you had South Texas that voted Democrat. That's what happened. Okay? Now you have the urban areas voting Democrat and you have South Texas voting Democrat. But what happened to East Texas? We got wrapped up in conservative, liberal, and all that kind of stuff.
The labels got us.
The last time I ran for the state senate in the northern half of East Texas. We have 48.5% of the vote. The largest voter, the second largest vote total in a special election in the history of our state. Got 48% of the vote. Won 14 out of 16 counties. I lost Tyler and Longview. I won everything else. Okay? If I get 40% of the vote in East Texas, I win. I don't have to get 48%. If I get 40% of the vote in East Texas, I will be the next United States Senator. And we can do that. I've done it before. I did it because the people of East Texas know and understand and appreciate the value of education. They know and understand the value and appreciate a person who will stand up for their children. And they don't care if he's Democrat or Republican or if it's a man or a woman or who it is. We know that family is important, and we know that education is important, and we'll vote for it. And so all you Democratic donors who've written us off and all the media that says it can't be won in Texas, then just go in a closet and shut the door. Because we're going to win in Texas because we can. And we're going to do it with small donations, and we're going to do it because I'm going to keep fighting and I'm going to keep spreading the message that our children matter, and our parents matter, and our healthcare system matters. And it's important for us in the state of Texas. And we're going to win East Texas, and we're going to win in South Texas. We're going to win the urban areas, and I'm going to win. And it's the old-fashioned way. And it's how a Democrat won in Texas. And that's what's going to happen. Trust me on it.
Very refreshing conversation. Paul, you're speaking from the heart, and I love it. We're going to take a little break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the national stage. You're running for U.S. Senate, and I want to just remind everybody we're visiting with Paul Sadler, running for U.S. Senate. You can find out more about Paul Sadler at sadlerforsenate.com. We'll be posting things up on our Facebook site, Southeast on Point in Southeast Texas, and you can read our editorials out on the KWD website. And we'll be back in a moment. But hang in there with us.
Far beyond the skies, and they tell me I'm home far away. Oh, they tell me I'm home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an unclouded day. Oh, the land of cloudless day.
This is On Point, the voice of the Democratic Party in Southeast Texas. You're listening to Kaywood Country.
Welcome back. We've got Paul Sadler in here with us today. We're visiting and we're talking about all the things that he wants to talk about, and hopefully the things that you need to hear to make your decisions. We were kind of moving up to Washington in the conversation. I want to jump back to Texas real quick, Paul, just for a minute, because whenever you were in the legislature, you'd talked about some of the things that you'd done, and one of the things you talked about was wind energy. What we hear Republicans are now kind of spoofing the whole green energy thing. It's like it's not a viable source of energy. And I'm kind of the position, I don't know now. What's the truth?
Okay. Two things you need to learn about energy in this country. Electricity and what you put in your cars. They're two different things. Okay? So you got to talk about energy as it relates to electricity and electricity generation, and then you can talk about energy as it relates to oil that we put in our cars, and et cetera, and gasoline. Wind energy is a very viable source of electricity. It is, Texas leads the country in wind energy production. We have the richest wind resource in the country. What makes Texas unique is we have the resource in West Texas, and we have an I-35 corridor where we have Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, ultimately Houston. We have a population base that can use the electricity. Oklahoma, Kansas has the same wind resource, but they don't have the people to support. And so they can generate more electricity they can use, and with a mix of coal and natural gas, et cetera, it causes a problem. So what we've got to do is get that wind energy from the middle quarter of our country into the major metropolitan areas. But Texas has done a very good job actually developing wind energy. Energy is kind of what we do in this state. You're going to see growth in Texas in natural gas, and you're going to see growth in Texas to some extent in wind. There's a limit as to how much wind we can do because of the transmission lines, even the transmission lines we're building today. It's a process called CREZ. It's the largest build-out of transmission for renewable energy anywhere in the world. And it's when it's done, we will be able to put 18,000 megawatts of wind energy on the grid. It is a mistake for people to believe that we're going to someday have just renewable energy as our electricity source. The fact is our demands are so great that we're going to have probably all of them. But I think the cost of natural gas and I think the environmental impacts of the other fossil fuels are such that you're going to see primarily growth in the area of natural gas. And you're going to see a supplement to it through wind energy. We haven't yet tapped solar energy. The cost of solar energy is a little high, and the land use involved in solar energy is still a lot. Once they get the technology down that it uses less land and the cost comes down, then I think we'll see some more solar. We have a great solar resource as well. The key to electricity production of energy is really the price of natural gas. As natural gas falls to the bottom because of the discovery of the new fields and the production of natural gas, it's made all other forms of generation hard to do. It's just the price of natural gas is so low. The price of natural gas is so low that it's made it hard for them sometimes. But the potential for our country is huge. You know, we can, for the very first time in the history of our country, I think, or at least in modern history, actually talk about energy independence and be truthful about it. We have a chance to be energy independent if you count Canada and Mexico with us, and I do. Okay.
In the Americas, we have an opportunity.
We have an opportunity to be energy independent. Now, that's a matter of national security. It's a matter of our economy. It's a matter of jobs. It's something that we have to do. We ought to be doing all of it. But it is a complex issue. It involves conservation. Okay, we should all practice conservation. We shouldn't be wasting electricity. It implies that we're going to have some mix in our electricity of wind energy and renewables. We need to have some, maybe as much as 15, 20%, maybe more, whatever the market kind of works out to be, but we need to have it. And then we need to be able to use this new influx of natural gas that we have and build those facilities, convert those facilities, and we can become energy independent. And it's a complex mix, but it works. On the other side of that, you have gasoline, oil, okay? I hear people all the time hollering about President Obama and oil and gas and all that kind of stuff. Here's the truth. We are the fastest growing oil and gas producing nation in the world. We are producing more oil and natural gas than we ever have.
We export it.
So everybody's saying, oh, Obama's bad for the oil and gas industry. Really?
Really? They're shoving their pockets full.
Okay, no, it's more of this rhetoric. I mean, just tell the truth. There's enough that we can discuss to show our differences without just tell the truth. And the truth is that we are the fastest growing production nation in the country. We are producing more oil and gas at a faster rate than we ever have in the history of our country. We've discovered more fields, and we have more production going on. So let's just tell the truth about that. In gasoline, it's a kind of a complex issue, but the pieces are pretty simple. Number one, we need to continue forcing our automobile manufacturers to produce cars that have higher gas mileage because we use less fuel when we do.
Oh, that was a bad thing when Obama set that regulation. And everybody, he's such an evil guy.
I know, but it's a good thing for us. I mean, we consume less, which means we can rely more on what we have, and we rely less upon the Middle East. These are good things. This is good for our national security. It's good for our economy. So that's one part of it. We need to have automobiles that have higher gas mileage requirements. We need to continue that trend. Detroit knows how to do that. They've known it for some time. Let's just keep doing it. We also need to have the production of oil in this country to continue to grow and refine it and use it right here in our country. We need to be doing that. And we can, again, for the first time, ease our independence. You know, every sitting president in my lifetime, as they left office, said, we have got to stop our dependence on foreign oil. Well, we have a chance to do it, and let's do it. And so you have to think of those in those terms.
Okay, but have we become a society of procrastinators? Every time we found some new fields, and so natural gas prices dropped tremendously. And so at a time when I would say, okay, we've actually bought some time here. We've got affordable natural gas, and now we should be spending or hold the price up a little bit and put the money over into research and development of wind energy. Are we creating? If Texas has got all the wind, are we looking at creation of green jobs here in Texas? Are we going to make the windmills here?
We do.
Wind generators?
We do. We've created over 10,000 jobs in Texas in the wind industry. There is, and it's not West Texas alone. You have one of the largest research and development centers in Houston. You have the ports.
Well, we converted NASA?
No. Listen, I'm a big supporter of NASA. That's a whole different subject. That's one area that I really disagree with the president's budget. Maybe we'll get a talk with that later.
Yeah.
But every port in 2009, in 2007, 2009, when we were really going great guns building wind because the price of natural gas had gone way up high, every port along our Gulf Coast 3 days of the week was filled with wind energy stuff. We were trucking blades across the state. We had industries like...
I remember seeing those blades, by the way.
They're scary looking.
Very
large.
Well, you shouldn't be afraid of them. But we had companies like Trinity Industries converting their rail car manufacturing into tower manufacturing to make the towers that the turbines go in. We were creating manufacturing jobs all over the state. A tremendous impact for our state. And one of the reasons why we've done well in Texas, here's the truth.
Oh, hold on just 1 second, if you don't mind, because that word right there. This is Carol Edwards. I'm off the engineering table that I do so well, and I'm on the mic now, and I sometimes come at things from a little bit different angles, Mark tells me. So I don't mean to divert you from your point, but I've heard you mention telling the truth a number of times, and at some point I'd love for you to give me a little bit of insight into why you think that that's not happening.
Because people want to get elected. And it's easier to tell people what they want to hear than to tell them the truth.
Okay.
And they're afraid they won't get elected.
Okay. That's the
truth.
The top of the issue, but what's really behind it.
So I'm assuming at this point we're going to hear the truth, and it may hurt us a little bit. It may pinch.
If I don't forget it.
Sorry about that.
Here's the truth.
Okay.
Governors, and this is so simple you're going to say, we waited all this for that. But governors and presidents have less to do with the economy than they get credit for or blamed for. Okay? That's the truth.